Hello, everybody. This is The Feed with me, Muftawu, Nabila, Abdulai. Tonight, we are asking a question that has to do with the governance of this country. There's stories that have been making rounds by the minority that the current leadership of government are not the people in charge of controlling the affairs of the administration of this country. And this question or this conversation that has been ongoing brings us to a point where everyone is asking the question. The very people we step out to thumbprint for them to lead the affairs of the administration of this country, are they the very people who are managing the affairs of this country? Tonight in the studio to answer the question is Noah Nash, who is a broadcast journalist. He will be answering the questions about whether the people we actually gave power to administer this country are really the people in charge. Noah, good evening.
Good evening.
The big question everyone is asking is Nana Addo in charge of the governance of this country?
As a journalist, from my perspective, I would say to you that Nana Addo is not the one running the country. Because in the last couple of years that he has been in the seat of government, actually, if you study it carefully, you get to understand that the scandals and the problems that have emanated from the government cycle tells you that the one who is actually promising us that a good governance is not the one in charge. Let me give you an example. If you're in power, if we say somebody is a president, it means that the person has a vision. He has a vision,
yes,
which he wants to share with the public. And his vision is the one that is going to be translated into the things that we do as development. So you realize that when he promises that he's going to give a sanitation, like a free environment where it is free of debt and other things, good health care, employment and education.
Free SHI.
Free, all those things, it means that that person has a goodwill. Now, that goodwill then translates into what we call the vote pattern. Now, if you look at what actually promoted people to really vote for Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, it's actually the fact that he's known for no nonsense. He's an individual who can just tell you that, look, what you've just done is rubbish. You can't take this. He won't tolerate it. He's somebody, not that he cannot tolerate opponent, but when the thing is wrong, Nana Addo cannot tolerate it. So that's the kind of caliber of person he was. So now, if you look at it currently, as we speak to you now, I can tell you for a fact, with authority, that looking at the various issues that have really emanated as problems, it tells you that Nana Addo is not in control.
What shows that Nana Addo is not in control?
Let me give you a typical example. If you look at fertilizer smuggling, it's not the business of Nana Addo to be chasing after people, but it's the business of Nana Addo to appoint people to really do the work for him. If your subordinate that you have appointed are actually delivering your mandate, it actually means that you are in control. For instance, you have an agric minister. You have directors that sit under agric minister. What are they doing? You have sector departments. We have decentralized this country into so many folds, where, for instance, some of them have been swallowed by other things. Then you ask yourself one of the biggest questions. The biggest question here is that, where are the directors, where are the ministers that you have appointed? In this current government, we have 123 ministers.
Yes.
Out of the 123 ministers, only 5 of them can be counted as the best. Let me give you their names.
Hold on, you go there to give us the evidence of the names of the ministers you think are ministers and are delivering per the promises Nana Addo gave to Ghanaians. But what shows that Nana Addo is a no-nonsense person, and some of the things happening, if he was really in charge, he would have taken the responsibility of kicking them out of the system?
If you look at the records of Nana Addo, when he was Attorney General, yes, when he was a foreign minister, it's clear. It's clear.
What are the records?
His standards. Look, in terms of accuracy, in terms of what he believes in terms of his delivery of work, he was the best minister among those, among his peers during the time that he was a minister.
So at the time,
and if you look at it critically, if you look at the visions that he had at that time, which he was trying to implement within the foreign ministry, were fantastic. When it comes to other sectors like Attorney General, where a lot of people feel that he didn't perform so well there, no, he did so well. But the point is that
what did he do to merit being so well?
No, when you say somebody has done so well, it means that in management of the problems that you are engulfed with,
yes,
how you deal with them and how you actually relieve yourself of them, naturally tells you that you're a good person or you're somebody who has a leadership quality. Nana Addo actually has a leadership quality. But as I speak to you now, I do not see Nana Addo having leadership quality. Because it looks like a president who has been voted into power, who goes about traveling, just sitting in meetings. People have written speeches for him. He reads them. People applaud him, and that's it. No. He is a minister, a president who just goes about commissioning or looking at projects, not doing independent assessment. Let me tell you, in this country, the best brains we've had in this country has been the BNI. But today, I can tell you on authority that we do not have the best brains in the BNI.
No, hold on. You're digressing a bit.
I'm not digressing. I'm only telling you that. I'm only telling you that a president in power, will have, who has the machinery before him, will do due diligence before appointing people.
And I said I will come to that area, but now I want you to answer the question about who is managing the affairs of the country if it is not the president.
To me, from where I sit, and what I have seen with the scandals and political corruption scandals and the challenges we've seen so far, it tells me that the people who are actually running this country are actually the financiers of the party.
And who are the financiers of the party?
The financiers of the party, we don't know them.
Then you cannot say that the president is not in charge
not that we don't know them. The country, we know them. We know them and because who are they? We know them because Electoral Commission have already have the audited account of the party. And definitely those who really actually finance the party will all be there.
So who are they?
I don't want to know.
Let
me tell you something.
Yes.
Let me tell you something. If you want to know the financiers of the party,
yes,
you can notice it from the utterances of Gabi Ochodako.
Okay, but Gabi, we all know he's the nephew of the president. So
how does he feel uncomfortable each time he notices that something has gone wrong?
What shows that he feels uncomfortable?
Look at it, for instance. You remember when the energy minister was sacked? Before he resigned, yes. Let's see. What was the first comment of Ochodako?
What was it?
The first comment he made was that whatever that has happened was distasteful. Let me paraphrase it. In the brightest mind of anyone, how can we sit down and say one day we are negotiating a deal that we could have had it in less than a few years?
But no, all the things you're saying still doesn't answer the question about who's in charge about the management of the country. It still answers the question
because, for instance,
it doesn't answer the question. Like, who has stepped forward?
Let me give you a typical example.
Okay.
One of them, this man, the one in Parliament currently, what's his name? The one who owns Unya FM, Unya Kennedy. Kennedy is also a financier of the party. He actually financed Nana Addo.
He owns Oman FM, not Unya
Oman FM. Yes. He is also a financier of the party. There are a lot of financiers of the party. There are a lot of them.
So they are in charge of the administration of the country. Is that what you're saying? So what shows that they are managing the country?
Look, let me tell you something. Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, and I will say it on authority that he's a no-nonsense person. And I still believe he's still a no-nonsense person.
You've not given any credence to Nana being a no-nonsense person. And that, per the scandals we've had under his administration...
He should have punished people, but he hasn't punished them because the financiers will not allow him.
It is the laws that works. If the law hasn't caught anyone culpable, how do you punish the person?
Are you telling me that who is sitting down here, people have smuggled fertilizers? People have been caught. Should it take us a whole year to punish people for crimes they've committed?
Who are the people who have
we have set up fast-track high court.
Hold on.
What is the purpose of it?
You are speaking ahead of the questions. You are speaking ahead of the questions. Who are the people who have smuggled fertilizers and the president hasn't taken action? Who are the people?
They are in the news. No, they've been caught by the security agency.
We speaking about theory here.
Let me tell you something. I'm not speaking theory. I'm telling you that this is a public knowledge in the public domain.
So if it's a public knowledge in the public domain, who are the very people? Who are the people who have been...
If you bring out the news bulletin, Muftawu, unless of course you want to pretend that you have not been in this country for the last years. I've been traveling. For the past 2 weeks, I've been out of this country. And I can tell you, even sitting outside the country, I've read news articles.
It's not about reading
people have.
It's not,
if you want me to Google this
it's not
on
about
my phone
reading news
and tell you people who have smuggled,
please
then
do that.
You are telling me that you are keeping us back.
Pull out that information for us because it will be relevant.
No,
it will be
the
relevant.
producer can even pull it for you.
No,
I don't need to be conjoining people.
No, I said.
I am telling you that
pull it out for us.
I am telling you that people have been caught smuggling fertilizer.
Who are they?
People have been caught.
Who are the people?
What do we do?
They don't have names.
I don't want to know their names.
Who kept them in charge of supervising about the affairs of fertilizer in the country?
Let me tell you something.
You see, Noah.
Rosewood.
Noah.
Rosewood that has been smuggled.
Noah.
Rosewood that has been smuggled.
Noah, hold on.
People have been found in Sisala district.
Hold on.
What happened? Is it for me to come and mention their names?
No, I said hold on.
You are throwing
allegations about, would that be substantial about the allegations?
This is public knowledge, public issue.
We are on a platform that is supposed to provide evidence for the people. So if you're throwing allegations about how someone has smuggled fertilizer, and you cannot even substantiate. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
If you want me to Google it for you and it will keep us running
in charge,
and the time will be wasted, Muftawu is on your head.
No problem.
As far as I'm concerned, I am telling you that I'm not here to do propaganda.
No, I'll even appreciate it.
I don't even entertain this NDC MPP thing.
I'll really appreciate it
because both of them have shown signs of stealing the public funds. For me, as far as I'm concerned, they haven't shown anything. We are here to solve unemployment. Akufo-Addo promised us unemployment situation will be curtailed. They will deal with it. They will create jobs. Let me tell you the truth.
This is the theory I'm talking about.
What theory?
You are talking about facts. Let's talk about things with substance. It's not about throwing allegations all over. We are having a conversation about people who have been kept in charge.
I am not making allegations. Haven't they been arrested? Google it. Your producer can Google it and put it on the screen for every
So if they have been arrested, why sure that the president is not in charge about administrating the affairs of the country? Who made sure that they are arrested?
Look, so many arrests could be conducted.
Okay. So assistance arrest.
Listen, so many arrests could be done. But if prosecution doesn't take place, you as the person who leads this country, the #1 gentleman of this country, you have failed the people. Because if people have not done their job, you are the #1 person to tell them that, look, per your briefings that you give to me in the Jubilee House, why haven't there been a solution to this problem? The Attorney General has been paid by the taxpayers' money. His job
every single person employed by the president has been paid by the taxpayers' money.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
So the job of the Attorney General is to get good facts. The police, who are under the ambit of the president, like the military and others, is also another sign that they must give the right things to be done. And the right things is that the police must gather enough evidence to do the due diligence to send to court, to give enough opportunity to the judge to say, this is a good case. But if we keep on presenting things to judges and make it so loose, and the process make prosecution difficult, it means that you, the #1 gentleman, you are gradually failing the people. Let me give you another typical example.
Okay.
Rosewoods. We have banned rosewoods in this country.
You are who?
The government has banned it. The minister have read it to us publicly that we have banned rosewood. It's being harvested day in and day out in the northern part of this country.
Even in my village. We need to go for a break and come back. And Noah will answer the question about the people who are in charge about the administration of the country. And the 5 ministers he claimed are the best ministers who have been part of the administration of this country. Since the MPP were given the opportunity of Ghanaians to manage the resources owned by Ghanaians. We'll be back in a jiffy to do more discussion here on the feed with me, Muftawu, Nabila, Abdulai. Welcome back from the break. This is the feed on Kwese TV with me, Muftawu, Nabila, Abdulai. Tonight, we are asking the question about who is in charge of the administration of this country. People have thrown accusations all over that the people we've voted or we gave power to manage the affairs of this country are not really in charge. And those who finance them to lead their various political parties are the people who are in charge, and some scandals are ongoing, and because they are not in charge, they cannot take action. But before I come back to the studio and speak to my guest, Noah Nash, who is a broadcast journalist, let me pick two comments that have come in from our viewers. And let me pick the first one from Edward Amara, who is tweeting at us as Edward Amara7. He says that, how much were you paid in cash to come and defend your boss, even though pieces of evidence are all over sticking against his person? I don't know the kind of the person he's asking, actually, because the question is incomplete. And this one coming from Theophilus Song, Twitter at Song Theophilus. He says, your panelist is very confused. Your host is asking him questions like he's leaving blank spaces for him to fill. We all can conclude that these people are under the influence of opposition NDC to come and run their campaign for them. I rest my case. No, Anash, you've just heard one interesting one there. But before you respond to that comment, you were pulling up some evidence about the people who are in charge, and then they've smuggled cassava and the president has not taken action. Let
me be honest with you. Fertilizer smuggling is one of the most deadliest things that is happening to agriculture sector. And the agriculture sector is suffering because poor farmers who should have the fertilizers are not actually getting it. It is not the duty of Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo to go around chasing people who are smuggling. But it is the duty of his directors, ministers, to do those jobs. If you have appointed 123 ministers and all your ministers are actually not in charge of their jobs, you are actually the one who has failed. That is what I want to say. You understand me?
So how have they failed? How have the people he has appointed?
Minister of Forestry says that he has banned rosewood harvesting. Yes. We have just 2 days ago, a minister had press conference inaugurating a group, a committee to investigate rosewood activities in town, in those communities that have been mentioned. You ask myself, you ask me, what evidence should I give you again? If not, then why did he set up a committee? Why were cars stopped on the Yeji and other borders? Because they have been noted to be the truckload of fertilizers that were being smuggled out of Ghana. If you don't investigate, how do you know the people who are behind it? That is why I'm telling you that these are things that are supposed to be done by people who have been paid by the taxpayer. It is not for me. Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, you and I have the responsibility of ensuring this country is governed per the standards we require of the people. Fantastic. Yes, so if you have all these things and you also have a responsibility of ensuring that the country is governed per the standards you are looking for, why haven't you tabled this? It is Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo who went and sought the mandate of the people, and he had his standard. The standard he had is that he was going to give them free education, keep the environment clean, and others. I never had that standard. My job as a journalist is to police the job that he claimed he was going to do. And that is exactly what we have been doing as journalists. I'm not interested in this NDC MPP politics. Let me tell you something very critical. A lot of people have made comments that when the NDC was leaving power, there was doomsday. Today, in less than 2 years, MPP is alleging to the general public that we have excess power. Meanwhile, when they came into power, they haven't even bought a single generator to produce light or produce anything. So in quest, what are they trying to tell the people? They are trying to tell people that they actually lied and came into power. Me, as a journalist, I can tell you on authority that it is not Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo who is actually deceiving the public. The technocrats that are sitting around him, whom he has employed to give him correct information, to be able to share with the public, are actually the ones deceiving him. So they are the people who are governing the country? Exactly. These 23 ministers, 123 ministers, yes, with their directors, they are all lying to Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo.
Thank you. So if he's a man who is very good and he's supposed to be sacking people left, right, and center,
yes,
like you claim, why isn't he doing it?
He's not doing that because, you see, when campaign funding is given to you to run your party, you've run it, you've won it. The people who actually gave you the money have interest. They have asked you to appoint certain people.
So he presented a wrong image to Ghanaians. Is that what you're saying?
Not wrong image. He still has
if he has that image, then he should be taking responsibility of firing the people you claim and the people who are running his administration.
Look, let me tell you, I still feel that he's confused. The president is actually confused as to how to run the country.
How is he confused?
He's confused.
Why is he confused?
He's confused because, one, here you are, you don't even have money to pay teachers, nurses allowance. You still kept them running. You are owing them arrears for 3 months.
But he's paying children's school fees.
Children's school fees, yes. When he struggles, when he diverts monies that are meant to pay legacy funds.
But it is paying children's school fees, which is also the responsibility
of government. Do you know
government.
how much? Let me tell you, Muftawu, let me tell you something. I am in support of the free education policy.
So 100%. Why is it a problem if he's decided to divert some cash to pay the fees?
But it has increased the cost of many parents. Let me tell you something very interesting, which you seem not to know. A lot of the schools that have gone through the shift system.
It's not shift, it's double track.
Double track, let me say, double track. When the students come home, parents still pay monies to take them to have classes.
That's the prerogative of the parent to do that.
Fantastic. But the truth of the matter is that if that student was to be in the normal boarding system, the parent would not have wasted that money.
Government hasn't asked the parent to spend that kind of money, so it's not government's fault that you are spending more.
Because you can't see your ward roaming around, doing anything.
But usually when they go on holidays, we roam around.
But the period that we give ourselves are minimal. You can go ahead and look at what another thing, potholes on our roads. No, I'm giving you. Okay. If Nana Addo is actually in charge and he drives on the road as the president of this country, the potholes we see in the cities, which we claim, he killed. He said, Nana Addo, Akufo-Addo told us that John Mahama has not built roads. He hasn't done the roads. The roads that they've done, they've also...
Are you speaking for John Mahama or the NDC?
Forget about that man, sir. I am telling you for a fact, forget him. I have not liked him for certain reasons. Not because he's not a credible candidate. But he has also demonstrated in the past that he has not been in charge. And that is what led to people believing that Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo is a no-nonsense person. Therefore, he can become a president.
So it is also something you also believe, but you don't know it for the fact that he's a no-nonsense person.
Has not proven to me that he is still in charge. And I'm telling you that. I'm giving you indication. You have a road minister, and you still have potholes on your road. You still drive 2 kilometers, 3 kilometers, 4 kilometers, 100 kilometers. You don't find street lights on the road. You still have your traffic lights, which you have used taxpayers' money to pay for. And you've promised that those traffic lights will be monitored by solar panels. Okay. And you still don't have them.
Our time is running out. Just give me, in 1 minute, how will Nana Addo be in charge of the administration of this country? And the 5 ministers you think they are working for the president?
Look, for me, fantastic. The best ministers that we've had under Nana Addo Dankwa, out of the 123, one of such ministers, Damboche, led the process in doing regional integration. Fantastic. Where, for instance, I was of the view that we need to separate the northern region, break them up in certain parts, even though I'm not in support of Volta region and Western region. Fantastic. Napo education. He actually implemented the vision of Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. Even though I have a problem with the way the implementations were done, but I can tell you for a fact that that man, Napo, who is our minister, honorable, he is properly in charge of the ministry.
Thank you.
So I can tell you.
So
the second one,
yes.
Trade, Alan Tremantin, he's actually running around.
No.
I feel.
No, before you continue, not to truncate you, this was the same ministry that was accused of accepting cash to sit next to the president. Is it the ministry you say is actually one of the best ministries under the president?
They are doing their job.
Okay.
I'm not looking at what they are.
Number 4.
Number 4 is the railway minister.
Railway minister?
Yeah.
Number 5?
Number 5 is the foreign affairs minister.
So how should Nana Addo be in charge of the administration of this country?
Nana Addo can only be in charge of the administration provided he actually goes back to the manifestos and actually implements the things he believes, he himself have a vision, apart from even the manifesto, what he actually believes. If he believes that we should drive on the road, not having potholes, he should make sure that his road minister fix the potholes. If Nanado believes that we should build hospitals, we should not leave some of the hospitals in the bush because we felt that the NDC were the only people who built those hospitals, so we do not want to complete them. Complete those hospitals. It doesn't make the NDC to be in charge. Okay. It makes you, the president, in charge.
Okay.
2, agriculture. If you have promised that you are going to make sure that we have good planting for food and jobs, and you have built a special initiative, ideas around the planting for food and jobs, please monitor it. Make sure that you have good people within the agencies that you've used the taxpayers' money to pay, to do proper monitoring for you. Because the reporting that Nanado is getting, it's not the actual truth.
Okay, thank you very much. Let me pick one last comment before we wrap up the show. And this one came from Opoku Alex. He says that the guy in your studio, he's referring to Noah Nasha, is a confused man. Yeah, would laugh on that note. It has been a pleasure coming your way here with the feed. I am Muftawu Nabila Abdulai. Thanks very much for joining us here. Tomorrow, we'll be back here again to bring you another interesting topic about something that's actually related to you. Thanks very much for your company here on the feed. Good evening.
I'm here to tell you, anything you do back with prayer, it's last.